The Dinar Daily welcomes you to your essential source for the latest developments concerning the Iraqi dinar IQD, the Vietnamese dong VND, the US dollar USD, and the broader currents of global finance. In our deeply interconnected world, keeping a close watch on international currency movements is no longer the exclusive domain of professional economists or political policymakers. This financial awareness has become an absolute necessity for anyone serious about managing and growing their personal wealth, including private investors, business owners, and responsible everyday citizens. The sheer volume of information and the speed at which it travels makes a reliable, fact-based resource more critical than ever before. The Iraqi dinar, specifically, has long been a focal point of intense global curiosity, generating years of relentless speculation, heated debates, and a swirling vortex of rumors concerning its potential future value. While a simple online search can easily lead one down a rabbit hole of highly questionable claims and outright false promises of instant, unimaginable wealth, our primary commitment remains steadfast to deliver clear, evidence-based reporting and analysis derived from informed sources. Our core mission is to empower audience to effectively discern reality from mere hype, particularly when discussing the complex financial landscape of an emerging economy like Iraq. We firmly believe that comprehensive knowledge is the most formidable asset an individual can possess when navigating uncertain financial opportunities. Our platform goes beyond merely delivering the most recent breaking news. We are dedicated to offering practical guides and well-reasoned commentary designed to demystify complex financial concepts and make them fully accessible to a wide, general audience. By actively engaging with our content, by joining our community, hitting the like button, and subscribing for updates, you are doing more than just casually following currency news. You are actively equipping yourself with the necessary insights and perspective required to make smarter, more well-grounded decisions in what remains an inherently unpredictable global financial environment. We recognize that trust and clarity are the cornerstones of responsible financial journalism. With every piece of analysis and every news update we release, our ultimate goal is to provide substantive answers to the most pressing questions, highlight significant policy shifts, and offer an in-depth perspective that penetrates beyond the superficial layers of common market speculation. Today's featured discussion represents a deep dive into the reasons why the current period in Iraq's economic history feels uniquely pivotal. We will examine the significant reforms currently underway and address the central question fueling investor interest: whether the long-anticipated revaluation (RV) of the Iraqi dinar might finally be moving closer to becoming a reality. This question has been a defining topic within the dinar community for over a decade, for well over 10 years. A defining and central question within the community of dinar observers has revolved around the possibility of the U.S. Treasury potentially working in direct and public coordination with the Central Bank of Iraq (CBI), officially confirming a precise date for the much-discussed currency revaluation, an event commonly referenced by the shorthand RV. This enduring speculation has served as the fuel for countless online debates, forum discussions, and has even led to the creation of entire commercial enterprises focused solely on selling dinar-related news and information. The persistent rumors have created a powerful, self-sustaining narrative within this specialized investment niche. Despite this intense and persistent stream of rumors that often circulate online, one fact remains undeniably clear and must be a cornerstone of any informed discussion: the U.S. Treasury Department has never made an official announcement confirming a specific date for a dinar RV. Consequently, any claims circulating to the contrary, particularly those promising instant dates or guaranteed outcomes, must be approached with the deepest level of skepticism and a critical questioning eye. It is crucial to separate wishful thinking from verifiable, official statements when assessing the future of the IQD. That said, the deep and sustained interest in an official confirmation of a revaluation is not rooted entirely in pure fantasy. Iraq has indeed been making substantial, documented progress in several key areas, actively rebuilding its national economy, significantly strengthening its core banking infrastructure, and working diligently to stabilize its domestic currency system. These efforts have gained particular momentum in the years since the devastating period of conflict that left a large portion of its financial sector severely fragmented and in disarray. The commitment to rebuilding and reform is tangible and measurable. Many seasoned analysts consistently argue that while the highly anticipated official announcement of an RV date has yet to materialize, the clear and verifiable signals emanating from both Baghdad and Washington are certainly worthy of close and careful scrutiny. Every single decision made by the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, every policy decree issued by the Office of Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani, and every joint declaration involving major international financial institutions like the IMF or World Bank, collectively adds another critical piece to the complex economic puzzle. These actions, not rumors, are what inform serious analysis. This current environment has led to a major question dominating investor discussions. Is the government of Iraq systematically laying the essential groundwork for a carefully controlled currency adjustment that could eventually take the form of a full revaluation? Or is the current wave of excitement simply premature, fueled more by unverified rumors than by concrete, measurable reality? While absolute, definitive answers to this central question remain elusive and subject to future events, one truth is undeniable. Iraq's economic momentum and structural direction are fundamentally different today than they were 5 or 10 years ago. It is this fundamental, observable shift in trajectory that provides the legitimate, underlying fuel for the renewed and serious speculation regarding an eventual revaluation. Among the most consistent and widely followed voices providing a nuanced perspective on Iraq's ongoing currency and financial transformation are Frank 26 and Sandy Ingram, both of whom command significant followings within the broader dinar community. These influential commentators have repeatedly and unequivocally stressed the paramount importance of Iraq's comprehensive efforts to completely modernize its financial system. This modernization is a massive undertaking that encompasses upgrading outmoded and slow banking processes, actively integrating with rigorous global financial standards, and ensuring strict compliance with all international anti-money laundering (AML) and counterterrorism financing regulations. The Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, has been proactively engaged in implementing state-of-the-art new technologies, establishing key partnerships with respected international consulting firms, and actively pursuing robust policies specifically designed to significantly increase institutional transparency and boost crucial investor confidence. According to expert analysts, these comprehensive efforts are far from being mere cosmetic or superficial changes. They are recognized as the essential prerequisites for any significant or meaningful currency adjustment to be both effective and sustainable. Without a reliable, fully transparent, and globally integrated banking system, foreign investors will inevitably remain hesitant to fully engage, and international recognition of Iraq's overall financial credibility would remain severely limited. Analyst Sandy Ingram, for instance, has consistently emphasized a vital point. While many people tend to focus their attention narrowly on the precise date of a potential revaluation event, the truly bigger picture and the long-term potential lie squarely in the extensive and fundamental structural reforms being undertaken by Iraq today. Frank 26 firmly echoes this perspective by highlighting Iraq's clear and stated desire to fully align its financial system with the rigorous expectations set by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank. These two globally influential organizations have long been staunch advocates for comprehensive modernization as the non-negotiable pathway to achieving enduring national stability. Taken together, the collective insights from these informed commentators suggest a clear conclusion. While the intense speculation surrounding a potential RV date will undoubtedly continue indefinitely, The real and most important story is likely less about the sudden promise of overnight wealth and far more about the steady, determined, and incremental progress that Iraq is successfully making toward becoming a demonstrably more functional, reliable, and respected participant in the broader global financial community. This patient structural transformation provides the true measure of Iraq's future economic strength. Since his initial assumption of office, Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani has placed comprehensive monetary reform and a robust economic revival at the very top of his administration's national agenda. His government has been working in exceptionally close cooperation with the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, to implement crucial policies aimed not only at achieving immediate stabilization of the dinar's value but also at meticulously laying the necessary groundwork for successfully attracting significant foreign direct investment and systematically expanding the nation's critical non-oil revenue streams. For decades, the Iraqi economy has been dangerously over-reliant on massive oil exports, which has rendered it highly vulnerable to volatile price fluctuations and sudden external economic shocks. Recognizing this fundamental fragility in the national economy, Prime Minister al-Sudani has proactively pushed for robust diversification through targeted, long-term investment in sectors like agriculture, massive infrastructure projects, and advanced technology. On the monetary policy front, the government has focused intensely on strengthening the nation's crucial foreign currency reserves, actively combating the destabilizing fluctuations in the parallel market exchange rate, and deliberately building greater public trust in the formal domestic banking sector. This comprehensive approach signals a clear, strategic shift away from total reliance on a single commodity. These significant reforms have included the implementation of much stricter oversight of all U.S. dollar transactions within the country, the proactive promotion of modern electronic payment systems as a replacement for cash, and the introduction of new measures specifically designed to rigorously limit pervasive corruption within the financial system itself. International financial observers, including representatives from both the U.S. and Iraq's European partners, have publicly acknowledged these reforms as concrete steps in the correct strategic direction. However, these observers also wisely stress the absolute importance of consistency and sustained long-term follow-through to ensure the changes are permanent for the citizens of Iraq. These deep-seated reforms represent a significant source of national hope, holding the promise not merely of a stronger national currency, but of a more resilient and dynamic national economy capable of generating stable employment and enduring stability. For international investors, these actions serve as a crucial indicator that Iraq is genuinely serious about fundamentally improving its global standing, which in turn significantly raises the credibility of any ongoing discussions surrounding the dinar's long-term future value. The commitment to self-improvement is the key factor being assessed by global markets. While it is true that no single policy reform is a silver bullet capable of solving all challenges instantly, the combined and cumulative impact of Prime Minister al-Sudani's various initiatives may ultimately prove to be the robust foundation upon which even larger structural changes, including the highly debated currency revaluation, could eventually be constructed and sustained. Despite the significant and undeniable progress made, Iraq still faces a number of significant obstacles that must be overcome before any credible, sustainable currency revaluation could realistically take place. These are deep-seated structural challenges that demand patience and sustained political will. Inflation control continues to represent a delicate and complex balancing act for the government and the CBI, as the country works to stabilize core consumer prices without simultaneously stifling crucial economic growth. While the nation's foreign reserves have been significantly bolstered by the steady flow of oil revenues, legitimate questions persist regarding their ultimate sufficiency in the face of ongoing global economic uncertainty and the inevitable fluctuations in the volatile energy markets. The challenge of balancing stability with growth is a continuous pressure point for policymakers. Furthermore, Corruption, which has long been accurately viewed as one of Iraq's most deeply entrenched and pernicious problems, continues to demonstrably undermine overall investor confidence and significantly slow the pace of necessary reform efforts across all sectors. Geopolitical uncertainty adds another complex and unpredictable layer to the challenge. With persistent regional tensions, security-related difficulties, and shifting political alliances all directly affecting Iraq's ability to project an image of enduring stability to the outside world. This instability remains a major factor in international business decisions. Moreover, while the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, has made verifiable strides in aligning its operations with global financial standards, successfully building and maintaining global confidence is a process that fundamentally requires time and a proven track record. Foreign investors are not simply seeking promises. They demand demonstrable, tangible evidence of sustained transparency and reliability over an extended period. Analysts caution that without continued, rigorous discipline and a relentless pursuit of reform, the current window of economic opportunity for Iraq could quickly narrow. However, a counter-argument holds that significant challenges are a natural, inevitable part of any nation's difficult path toward economic recovery and structural maturity. And Iraq is certainly no unique exception to this rule. What truly distinguishes the present period is the powerful combination of a strong, focused political will within the government, clear and visible international engagement and support, and a national economy that, while still exhibiting some fragility, is unequivocally far stronger and more diversified than it was in the tumultuous years immediately following the conflict. This combination suggests a fundamentally different outlook for the future. The real and most profound question, then, is not whether Iraq currently faces significant challenges. It undeniably does, but rather whether its political leadership and its core institutions are fully prepared and capable of managing those challenges in a strategic way that permits sustainable, long-term economic growth and eventually a responsible currency adjustment that accurately reflects its substantially improved economic fundamentals. The capability and resolve of the current administration are the factors most under scrutiny by the global community. Looking ahead, many experienced economic observers are seriously asking whether the year 2025 could realistically represent a definitive turning point for the Iraqi dinar and, by extension, for Iraq's entire economic trajectory. Optimists point to the substantial cumulative progress achieved in recent years, significantly stronger foreign reserves, the implementation of much tighter financial regulations, the successful modernization of the core banking infrastructure, and the ambitious reform agenda forcefully driven by Prime Minister al-Sudani's government. These concrete achievements, they correctly argue, are not mere isolated victories but are instead highly interconnected steps, leading directly toward a broader and deeper economic transformation. International acknowledgement of Iraq's recent progress is clearly and consistently growing, with respected institutions like the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank highlighting the reforms as undeniable signs of Baghdad's genuine commitment to long-term economic stability. Nevertheless, a healthy level of caution remains fully warranted. A full revaluation of the dinar is not a simplistic switch that can be effortlessly flipped once a set number of reforms are completed. It is a highly complex process requiring careful calibration, close and continuous coordination with international partners, and a high degree of assurance that Iraq can successfully sustain a stronger currency value without risking a destabilizing effect on its entire domestic economy. For these weighty reasons, the majority of serious and credible analysts deliberately stop short of attempting to predict an exact timeline for any potential revaluation. Instead, they frame the current period, particularly the outlook for 2025, as a year of significant potential rather than one of absolute certainty. What does seem undeniable, however, is that the current momentum is building in profound and demonstrable ways that were simply not present in any previous period. Iraq is not merely surviving on its oil revenues. It is actively and gradually positioning itself to be recognized as an emerging reliable player on the global financial stage for international investors. This emerging reality underscores the critical importance of closely monitoring all developments, not with an unrealistic expectation of achieving quick speculative riches, but with a sober and patient appreciation for the long game involved in national economic transformation. It is the steady, measured, and disciplined progress that holds the true potential to one day fundamentally reshape Iraq's currency value in a way that accurately and fairly reflects its now improving true economic potential. The key for all participants is to maintain a focus on the underlying verifiable fundamentals. In today's extraordinarily fast-moving digital age, where news, accurate or otherwise, can traverse the entire globe in mere seconds, the rapid spread of misinformation has become one of the greatest and most persistent challenges to achieving financial stability. Recently, demonstrably false claims began to circulate widely, asserting that the U.S. Treasury had imposed sanctions on several key Iraqi banks, a rumor that quickly gained significant, misleading traction on social media platforms and the numerous online forums frequented by currency speculators. This rapid dissemination of falsehoods necessitated an immediate and decisive response from the authorities. The Central Bank of Iraq's CBI acted with commendable speed and clarity to formally deny these reports, issuing a firm and categorical statement designed to immediately calm fears and prevent unnecessary public panic among both citizens and investors alike. Commentators like Frank26 correctly emphasize that these types of damaging rumors are rarely accidental. They are often deliberately designed to sow confusion, shake confidence, and actively undermine the hard-won credibility of Iraq's recent financial progress. His consistent message to the broader community has been clear: stay informed, remain patient, and absolutely do not allow misinformation to shake your fundamental confidence in the verifiable progress being made. The demonstrated speed and the absolute clarity of the CBI's public response highlight a crucially important development in Iraq's ongoing journey toward greater stability. The institution is clearly demonstrating a newfound and serious commitment to transparency, accountability, and consistent proactive communication. This is precisely the kind of decisive institutional behavior that sophisticated international investors demand to see, because mutual trust is the ultimate foundation upon which all significant long-term investment decisions are built. A central bank's ability to respond quickly and decisively to false narratives signals strong leadership capable of crisis management and economic protection. In this light, the incident involving the false sanctions rumor served less as an actual setback and more as practical proof that Iraq's core financial institutions are becoming structurally stronger and more resilient over time. This demonstrable institutional strength is, in itself, a profoundly reassuring sign for all those closely tracking the dinar's long-term trajectory. Analyst Sandy Ingram has effectively laid out a clear and comprehensive framework for understanding the diverse forces that hold the power to drive the Iraqi dinar's value upward in the coming future. The first major factor is the crucial element of increased domestic adoption. As a greater number of Iraqi businesses and individuals routinely utilize the dinar for their everyday transactions, rather than continuing to rely heavily on the US dollar, the fundamental demand for the national currency grows. When the organic demand for a currency expands due to its wider practical use, its inherent market value naturally begins to appreciate. The second factor is speculative trading, where overall investor sentiment, often driven by verifiable news about reforms or significant geopolitical shifts, influences the short-term demand for holding the dinar, while speculation can occasionally introduce volatility. When combined with genuine economic progress, it can also generate significant upward pressure on the currency's value. Thirdly, the element of scarcity naturally plays a role. If the readily available supply of dinar currency were to purposefully decrease relative to a rising market demand, the price would be naturally pushed higher, just as with any other tradable asset. Finally, psychological milestones possess the power to ignite waves of frenzied investor activity. For example, if the dinar were to achieve symbolic exchange levels, such as 10 cents or even the much-discussed goal of parity, 1 IQD to 1 United States dollar, it could easily spark a surge of buying activity fueled not only by underlying fundamentals but also by the powerful forces of market psychology. However, Ingram correctly stresses that achieving these highly positive outcomes fundamentally requires disciplined, sustained policy from both Iraq's government and its central bank. The country must continuously strive to strengthen its foreign currency reserves, rigorously enforce all financial regulations, and actively encourage substantial foreign capital inflows if it genuinely hopes to create a sustained, long-term upward momentum for the dinar. While the dinar currently exchanges at a rate near $0.0076 or 1,310 IQD per USD, the long-term potential for appreciation remains significant for those willing to commit to a patient, informed approach to Iraq's complex economic transformation. 1 of the most compelling and robust indicators that Iraq is firmly positioned on the correct reform path is the clear and growing international recognition of its ongoing economic reforms. These profound changes are not only being noticed domestically, where Iraqis themselves are beginning to sense small but meaningful improvements in the financial sector, but they are also garnering serious attention on the global stage. Recently, the British government publicly commended Iraq's concerted efforts to forge a significantly more business-friendly environment, specifically noting the improvements in regulatory frameworks, financial oversight, and overall market accessibility. Influential organizations, such as the Iraqi British Council and the World Bank, have also weighed in, publicly praising Baghdad's clear commitment to fundamental reform as a major and decisive step toward integrating Iraq more fully into the global financial community. This level of international recognition carries a weight that extends far beyond mere symbolic approval. It actively opens the door for greater foreign investment, new trade agreements, and joint ventures that bring not only essential capital but also vital expertise and innovation directly into the country. For Iraq, which is actively striving to diversify its economy away from an over-reliance on oil revenues, attracting stable foreign investors is absolutely essential for building a more balanced and ultimately sustainable national economy. Every single statement of official support from respected international institutions significantly reinforces overall investor confidence and consistently sends a powerful message that Iraq is steadily becoming a safer, more credible, and more attractive environment for long-term financial commitments. In practical terms, this hard-won credibility can only serve to strengthen the dinar by directly driving increased international demand for the currency. As various businesses and investors actively seek to engage with a market that is increasingly viewed as both stable and attractive, and as Iraq's deep-seated reforms continue to win global acknowledgement, the momentum for future opportunities steadily builds, which could eventually be reflected in a significantly higher currency valuation. In addition to the formal, official statements, illuminating commentary from trusted sources, such as Frank 26 and his widely followed contact, Firefly, has shed further light on the Central Bank of Iraq's (CBI) determined and positive stance regarding the dinar's future. Firefly, referencing specific televised coverage, relayed a key point. A CBI spokesperson appeared on national television to definitively and categorically deny any and all rumors of U.S. sanctions. More importantly, the spokesperson went further, offering a strong public reassurance that the Iraqi dinar will absolutely regain its strength, and its exchange rate will be restored to a balanced and appropriate level. For close observers, this was interpreted as a remarkably bold and confident public declaration, signaling that the central bank is focused not only on defending the current system but is also clearly intent on guiding the dinar toward a significantly stronger future position. Frank 26 interprets this powerful official statement as compelling evidence that the current official exchange rate of 1,310 IQD per USD substantially undervalues Iraq's currency when measured against its true and improving economic potential. His analysis suggests that a more balanced and appropriate rate could be much closer to par, perhaps even an exchange rate of 1.1 or potentially higher, depending entirely on how successfully the necessary reforms continue to progress. Such confident assertions captured the immediate attention of both retail speculators and institutional watchers, as they clearly imply that the CBI itself envisions a stronger dinar as both fully possible and highly achievable, while a measure of caution remains absolutely necessary. Given that no definitive timeline or precise mechanism has been officially announced, the sheer confidence publicly expressed by Iraq's central banking authority injects an important new layer of perceived stability into the market narrative. It demonstrates not only the institution's resolve but also its explicit recognition that both vital investor trust and national pride are intrinsically tied to the currency's overall performance. This combination of official reassurance and expert analysis is exactly what many within the dinar community have been waiting for, as it significantly strengthens the narrative that Iraq is methodically and steadily preparing for a much brighter financial future. One of the most significant and recent developments in Iraq's evolving financial landscape is the official unveiling of a new exchange policy, which many analysts firmly believe holds the power to fundamentally change the way both domestic and international investors ultimately engage with the Iraqi dinar. Mark Z, another widely followed commentator in the dinar community, has emphasized that this new policy represents much more than a simple technical adjustment. It is a clear signal that Iraq is profoundly serious about fully modernizing its financial operations and aligning them with global best practices. Among the new policy's most important key features is the active reduction of bureaucratic hurdles, allowing for significantly faster and demonstrably more efficient exchange processes that previously might have been frustratingly bogged down in excessive red tape. This critical streamlining effort is aimed not just at convenience, but also at fundamentally building confidence in a system that has historically been criticized for being antiquated and overly complex. Another key component involves new negotiation leverage, where exchanging larger sums may be permitted under more favorable conditions, providing both businesses and high-volume investors a direct incentive to conduct their transactions within Iraq's official banking channels rather than resorting to informal or parallel black markets. Perhaps most critically, enhanced digital security measures are being rigorously implemented to monitor all transactions in real time, effectively preventing fraud and ensuring absolute compliance with global standards for transparency. For the nation of Iraq, these deep-seated changes are about more than just smoother exchanges. They are about projecting an undeniable public message to the entire world that the country is fully prepared and ready to conduct business in a secure, modern, and genuinely investor-friendly environment. By aggressively taking these necessary steps, Iraq is demonstrating that it is not merely reacting to present-day challenges but is actively and strategically laying the groundwork for long-term economic credibility. As Iraq courageously continues its ambitious journey of structural reform, many observers in the financial community are beginning to clearly recognize that the long-term trajectory for the Iraqi dinar is pointing in a far clearer and more positive direction than it has for many years past. While significant challenges will undoubtedly remain on the path, the profound momentum of change is undeniable. Deep-seated reforms across the entire banking sector are not slowing down. On the contrary, they appear to be accelerating, with both the government and the Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, working effectively hand-in-hand to modernize all legacy systems, rigorously tighten financial regulations, and systematically instill greater public and investor trust. This internal commitment is being powerfully complemented by a growing chorus of international recognition As respected institutions and foreign governments openly acknowledge Iraq's measurable progress in creating a more business-friendly climate. Importantly, the CBI has demonstrated impressive resilience by standing firm against the intentional spread of false rumors and misinformation, swiftly denying the baseless claims of sanctions or setbacks and strongly reinforcing its public commitment to absolute stability. Simultaneously, informed experts such as Frank 26 Sandy Ingram and Mark Z continue to underscore the dinar's long-term appreciation potential, framing it not as a speculative fantasy but as a genuine investment opportunity rooted in verifiable, measurable reform and tangible progress on the ground. For investors, this presents a truly pivotal moment. The virtues of patience, access to accurate information, and active engagement have never been more crucial to success. The path ahead may not be entirely free of obstacles or sudden shifts, but the critical pieces of the puzzle are clearly and steadily falling into place. With every single policy announcement, international endorsement, and technological infrastructure upgrade, Iraq edges perceptibly closer to fully aligning with demanding global standards, making the concept of a significantly stronger dinar not merely a subject of speculative debate, but an emerging financial reality grounded in deep institutional discipline and sustained reform efforts. For all those carefully following Iraq's dramatic economic transformation, whether they are longtime holders of the dinar or newcomers curious about the entire investment journey, the central message is becoming clearer with each passing month. Iraq is not standing still. Its national economy, which for so long was primarily defined by total oil dependence and fragile institutions, is gradually but surely evolving into something far more dynamic, diversified, and resilient. The comprehensive, well-articulated reforms introduced by Prime Minister al-Sudani's administration, combined with the determined and confident stance of the CBI, clearly show that Iraq is fully committed to not only stabilizing its domestic currency, but also to fundamentally strengthening its overall position within the global financial system. This sustained, positive development is precisely why many serious analysts now argue that the dinar's potential for appreciation is no longer a matter of mere hopeful speculation but a distinct possibility, increasingly supported by concrete, measurable progress. For investors navigating this complex landscape, the optimal approach is to remain patient, maintain a positive outlook, and stay exceptionally well informed, recognizing that an economic transformation of this monumental scale simply cannot and will not happen overnight, but only through a steady, disciplined series of strategic steps. The coming years may very well reveal that Iraq's ongoing story is truly one of remarkable resilience, profound renewal, and significant long-term opportunity. We urge you to stay fully tuned, remain connected to our platform, and continue your informed journey with the Dinar Daily, a resource entirely dedicated to delivering accurate updates, expert insights, and clear financial clarity in a world too often heavily clouded by baseless rumor and unnecessary noise. We close with this essential reminder: this content is intended solely for informational and educational purposes and should never be construed as financial advice, a recommendation, or a prediction of future results. Currency markets carry inherent volatility, and all investment decisions must be based upon a careful and sober evaluation of the associated risks. Always consult with a licensed financial advisor or qualified professional before making any investment choices based on your individual financial situation, personal risk tolerance, and specific goals.